I'd like to chat to you today about breast health and proactive prevention. I'm Kirstin Nussgruber from Kirstin'sCancerCare.com, and I am myself a 2-time breast cancer survivor. As we enter the month of October here in the United States with the gazillion pink breast cancer awareness campaigns that are going to be flooding us from all over, I'd like you to take a more proactive approach and understand that there are lots of things that you can do to practice what I consider to be proactive prevention. Yes, we have diagnostic tools available for us to help us detect breast cancer early and possibly intervene at a very early stage. However, that alone is just not enough and is a subject all on its own as well to discuss. I'd rather we have an approach, a kind of a mindset shift as well, where we realize that every single day there's something we can do to practice proactive prevention, and focusing on certain foods. And I'm going to just single out 5 today that we can basically eat every single day or at least during the week that will really help us do one of 3 things. Again, it's a very broad topic, but I want you to understand that with just 5 things that you can do, you can focus on 3 body systems that falls within the realm of proactive prevention, of nurturing that inner terrain that we need to support all the time if we want to be successful with proactive prevention. Now, those 5 body functions that I mentioned are simply this. We want to support a healthy immune system. Now, you may often hear about people talking that we need to boost the immune system, and that may be so, but we need to be a bit careful. I'm talking to you about supporting immune system. Sometimes we don't necessarily want to boost it. We just need to support it with certain nutrient-dense foods that give us the compounds in forms of all the micronutrients like vitamins and minerals and amino acids and antioxidants, but also phytonutrients. Those are chemical compounds that are found in plants that help plants survive, and we benefit from them too. The first such phytonutrient was found way back in 1936, and by now we have discovered thousands of them. They all have complex names. I'm not going to bore you with that, but just understand that these are not vitamins, not minerals, but they are extra compounds that we benefit from when we eat a wholesome diet, meaning a lot of fresh vegetables in different colors and different varieties. With that, we can make the immune system strong. Why? Why do we need a strong immune system? Well, when it comes to cancer, cancer is very sneaky, and it can trick the immune system. Cancer cells, and when they form tumor cells, they can secrete certain molecules that can camouflage them so that the immune system doesn't find them. So that's the support that we need to really focus on, is helping our immune system be able to detect cancer cells, or aberrant cells, as we also refer to them, when they're not true cancer cells yet, but they're on their way to becoming there, and destroy them, because that's the job of the immune system. That leads me to the second body function. What is a problem with the immune system? What can dampen the immune system? Well, there are lots of things, but one thing that I want to focus on today that you can directly influence with your food choices is inflammation. Cellular inflammation, silent inflammation, not the type of inflammation that if you get stung or you hit yourself and you see a reaction like a lump, redness, swelling. I'm talking about the silent inflammation that we often only notice when it's too late, that we can detect with certain blood tests and blood markers as well. This is when our cells are affected. Each and every cell, the functioning of the cell is affected. And our nutrient choices can greatly influence how this inflammation takes root and how it spreads in the body. And if there's a little bit of inflammation on a consistent basis because of poor food choices or just inadequate nutrients, that fire will be fueled, it will grow. It is not simply going to disappear. And by the time we have symptoms associated with that, that's often referred to in the chronic disease category, is when officially we have tests done and nothing is wrong with us, but there is this inflammation going on. And when we approach our health from a proactive, functional point of view, we can find signs and signals of this inflammation long before they turn into symptoms. And then the third body function that plays an important role in our proactive prevention is gut and liver health. Now, our liver is one of our main detoxification organs, and it also helps to detoxify excess estrogen, which many breast cancers that are being diagnosed are estrogen positive. Not all of them, there are many that are negative, but most of them are estrogen positive. So we need to really pay attention to that. Estrogen can become harmful. It needs to be broken down. It needs to be broken down in a way that is not inflammation causing and not cancer causing, and our liver plays a key role in that, and also of course in detoxifying us from many other toxins that we find from the environment that we are very capable of breaking down and excreting if we support our liver with our food choices, and of course also our gut health. Our gut microbiome plays a huge important role, that we have the right balance of the right bacteria. They can also play a very important role in the entire process of cancer development, from the first initiation to promotion and to spread and growth of cancer. It's very important that we focus on balancing the gut microbiome and dealing with inflammation there, leaky gut, intestinal permeability. There are lots of areas in which we can have an imbalance or dysbiosis in our gut. So supporting our gut health plus liver are two vital important things that we need to focus on. So in summary, the three body functions we need to really, really pay attention to if we want to practice proactive prevention is supporting the immune system, curbing cellular silent inflammation, and supporting our gut and our liver. Well, how do we do that? 5 top foods that I would like to see every woman, regardless of any age, focus on every single week are. So number 1, let's focus on some fruit, some low carb, brightly colored fruit. And I'm sure you've guessed it, the berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, goji berries. The color, the vibrant color in them are proof of the phytonutrients that I was referring to earlier on that really help fight cancer. They help the body protect itself. So those compounds, we want to have them in abundance, and we want to have them in a form of food where we regulate our blood sugar balance as well, because an imbalance in our blood glucose metabolism can fuel cancer growth. That can also lead to silent inflammation, and that can lead to issues in our gut as well, and compromise our liver in its ability to detoxify. So berries are an awesome choice for fruits on a regular basis. Of course, they need to be clean and organic if possible, because otherwise we just add further pesticides that our liver will have to deal with again. So what I do so that I can also afford to have berries in my life on a daily basis is I use a lot of them frozen as well when I make my smoothie. That way it's a little bit more cost effective, and those that I buy fresh, I'd like to just eat on its own. But that way it's actually doable for you to include berries on a daily basis, and definitely on a weekly basis too. So berries is my number 1 top food. Number 2, the cruciferous vegetables. That is a group of vegetables like, yes, broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. They, again, have a plethora of phytonutrients in them that so many studies have shown, again, intervene at the various stages of cancer development. They are an important food to add. Think about it. Every time you have one of those vegetables, you are adding to the possibility that you are stopping cancer growth. Now, those cruciferous vegetables are best, you can sometimes eat them raw, but best lightly steamed or lightly roasted as well. Try and include them on a weekly basis. They should really be on your weekly shopping list. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, like I said, kale belongs to it too. The cabbages, red cabbage, white cabbage, and bok choy, part of that as well. Include them on a regular basis. So that's the food number 2. Then we have fatty fish. We need to curb inflammation, not fuel it. And our omega-3 fatty acids play a very, very key role here. Now, omega-3 fatty acids is an umbrella term, as I like to refer to them. We have a couple of different types of omega-3 fatty acids, and depending on the food source, we can have a higher propensity in some than in others. But fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, they are high abundant in omega-3 fatty acids, and that's a very natural way of increasing omega-3 fatty acids in our diet. And by the way, we can test for that. We can test to see our balance, our ratios of omega-3 fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory, to omega-6 fatty acids, which can be pro-inflammatory. Now, we need both. We do need omega-6 fatty acids in our diet as well, but not to the extreme and ratio that we are generally exposed to in the so-called standard American diet. And even if we are eating a healthy diet, I do encourage that you have those ratios tested, because very often we are missing some of the key omega-3 fatty acids. And again, they are so important in this anti-inflammatory approach, and also they play a key role in down-regulating certain oncogenes. Those are genes that support and promote cancer growth. So again, I told you, cancer is sneaking, and our genetics play a role, and genetics within cancer development play a role. So there are so many different hallmarks of cancer that with a real wholesome approach to our diet, we can address them all in one go. So every single day, you can practice proactive prevention. So fatty fish for omega-3 content, include that, of course, clean as possible, wild caught. You don't need to eat a lot. I know that wild caught sockeye salmon from Alaska, for example, is very expensive, but you don't need to eat a lot. You can have a small portion, and the rest is a whole bunch of either steamed or lightly stir-fried vegetables, or roasted vegetables, or a nice combined, very vibrant, diverse salad. There you go. That is very filling, and you have that good dose of protein in the fish, as well as a good dose of omega-3 fatty acids. So that was my food number 3, fatty fish. So we had berries, we had cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. We had fatty fish like salmon and mackerel and sardines, for example. Now the third food category are mushrooms. Mushrooms, for thousands of years in the Eastern countries, have been known for their immune stimulating effect. So they stimulate the immune system. So again, we need to, for those of us that have autoimmune conditions, not food-wise, but supplement-wise, we need to pay a little bit of attention. And that's what we need to understand. When do we stimulate the immune system? When do we support it? So that was just a note of caution there. But to eat mushrooms, you can eat mushrooms. Right? You can eat a plethora of mushrooms, and luckily our supermarkets are now having more and more variety in them. Include them in your diet. They have been shown to, they're high in, if you're wondering, what about this fungus, which is what mushrooms are, but they are rich in a particular polysaccharide, the beta-glucans, which really also support our immune system when we are sick, just also with normal flus and colds. Let's focus on the mushrooms, eat them. We can, again, stir fry them, we can roast them, we can include them in soups, we can puree them. There are so many ways in which we can include them in our diet, in our weekly diet. Very important food group, such a key role in slowing down cancer growth, and actually in actively killing cancer cells. They have what is called a cytotoxic effect on cancer cells as well. So mushrooms, think mushrooms, such a vital role in a top food to practice proactive prevention. And finally, the 5th food group are fermented vegetables. Now, this is an area where we can really support our gut health, our microbiome. Probiotic supplements is one way, but we also want to follow up with whole food sources, and by eating little bits, because we only need it in like a condiment size, not as a proper side dish. Fermented vegetables every single day. We are providing food to our microbiome and helping the healthy bacteria that we already have there proliferate. Now, fermented foods are so easy to make, and if you buy them, you need to make sure that they don't have added sugars or added vinegar. You basically want the vegetable shredded and salt and maybe water. That's about it. When I make my own, all I use is the shredded vegetables, and I either use a food processor or I just cut them by hand. I have a very sharp knife and it goes very quick. For example, let's take one of the cruciferous vegetables like red cabbage, and I may grate into that 1 carrot just for some color, or daikon radish. You can do a lot of grating as well when you grate your fermented vegetables. And then you take a high quality mineral rich salt like Celtic sea salt or the pink rock Himalayan salt, and you massage it. And while you're massaging it in a big bowl, and yes, it takes some elbow grease to do that, you will see the natural juices start coming out. And when you then pack this mixture, once you've massaged it long enough, when you pack that into a mason jar, pack it really down, you'll see the natural juices actually rise and cover it. You want to have that layer of liquid on top. Generally, you don't even need to add some water because that'll do it by itself. You let that stand on top of your counter for a couple of days, and then you transfer it to the fridge. You burp them every day. You're going to see the lid bulge because you have lactofermentation going on, which is what you want, which will continue even if you keep that in the fridge, but it will reduce it. And this is food preservative 101, the most basic way of preserving food. And we used to eat tons of it because we didn't have fridges or limited access to cooling over the winter months. And we just have dropped off the wayside. People say it's too sour, I don't like the taste, because we've been trained to want sweet all the time with all our processed foods. So it's time to really claim that back and understand that a little bit of bitter and sour is actually absolutely necessary and healthy for a really well-functioning gut microbiome. So quick summary, those 5 proactive foods are the berries, cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and broccoli and Brussels sprouts. We had the, my list, we had the mushrooms, part of that. We had the fermented vegetables and the fatty fish. The fatty fish was the other one. So those 5, please, let's focus on that every single week. Include that in our diet. And that is practicing proactive prevention, breast supportive eating. I'm Kirstin Nussgruber from Kirstin'sCancerCare.com. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn. I post regularly interesting topics to help empower you make the right decisions. You can also hop onto my website, Kirstin'sCancerCare.com. I have written a self-help book which gives you the basics on trying to proactively prevent cancer and a cancer recurrence. And also, of course, my newsletter or blogs. I share a lot of information with you because it's really up to you. You can do this. And there are lots of different tools, lots of different levels we get involved in. That's what I do with my private clients. And I also support integrative doctors for their clients to help implement, like, how do I do this? How do I fit this into my lifestyle? That's what we do. So I hope to see you there. Please comment on this too if you feel there are other foods we should add in. Again, I just chose 5 that I think are very important to have on a weekly basis. There are tons more, but these are very important foods that I certainly include in my weekly regimen as well. Leave your comment. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll respond to you guys as well as I keep on checking this back in. If you've missed this too, you can also find me on my YouTube channel. There are other videos there for you too. And together in proactive health, let's focus on breast health. Let's understand we are very empowered. We can do a lot of things with our food, and just hang in there. All right, guys, take care for now, and hopefully I'll see you in the chat box.